Welcome to 8th hour physics. Let's take a look at the question.
I'm up here today.
So the question goes a little bit like this. Mathematically speaking, what is the significance of the derivative of the sine of x? So I'm not asking you what the solution is. I'm just asking, what does that actually mean on the sine of x curve that you're probably familiar with?
Okay,
So
I understand it, but I also don't, and I don't really want to try.
sine of x looks like this, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's worth a 0. That's what you started with.
So if I wanted to take the derivative at this particular location right here, what would my answer be? Like not a number, but what would I have to do?
It's on a circle. This is where it's hard.
Oh, you're thinking too hard.
Okay.
Katie?
Take 2 points that are super close to it and connect those and get a slope there.
Sure. And Jaden?
I was going to say told you the slope.
Yeah, exactly. Both.
That's the definition of derivative.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, yeah.
Then
He just chose. Yeah.
So let's say we take this location. The significance of the derivative of this function at this location is that it represents the tangent line. It is the slope. It is, if you extended this exact point infinitely using that particular slope, you'd get your straight line like that. So tangent line, slope, whatever you want to say to answer that question. All right. Worksheet number 2. Any questions you'd like to go over from this? Going once. Going twice. So, pass in your worksheet number 2, please. Actually, no, I should come get it. I shouldn't have you touching each other's papers.
Yes.
Hi, Kylie.
Hi, Kylie. Hi, sisters.
Hello. I just remembered we were recording.
Kylie, I just want to say
Sometimes some
thank you.
people hyperventilating.
I just want to say thank you.
Somebody should look at recordings of my classes and see how much of a mess I am. We don't want to acknowledge that.
Katie, why don't you get this in the greatest hits compilation of 8th hour physics?
I want to chuck this across. Do it! Not at Mr. Hathaway. Just like that.
I know, yeah. You know what I think's going to happen?
It's not that weird. Just watch it.
You know what I bet's going to happen after this school year ends? Keep it down, guys. Shh. Keep it down a little bit. I bet after this school year ends, and like I have all my lessons on Schoology in video form, I'm going to get like fired, and they're going to pay virtual Mr. Hathaway like half as much.
Really?
Okay.
I don't think they would want to use these takes,
True.
honestly. With these takes, I don't think anyone would want to sit through this, because like right now I'm just talking, and now they have to sit through me talking, and I feel really bad that now I'm talking.
Mr. Hathaway, just don't admit that you're on illicit drugs. Don't admit it.
I will never admit that, Foxy, though. Don't you worry.
I admit it.
Okay.
I swear, get out of here. I'm an FBI watch this. I'm an FBI agent.
So, okay. We've had 2 lessons so far, and they have definitely built upon each other. We had the regular way to do derivatives, where you take one away from the exponent, you toss it out in front, and then you put something -1 in the exponent like that. And then we combine that rule with the product rule and the quotient rule. Today we add one more wrinkle to this story, and it's... What's that? Oh, of course there's more. If you think today's lesson is good, you just wait until tomorrow.
Ooh.
Tomorrow we're having a mid-level.
Sometimes positive threats are the best.
Yes,
You're not wrong.
You're gonna feel good or else.
Okay. Be happy.
Hey, who wants to do derivatives of trig functions? I know I do. Yeah.
That's sarcastic thumbs up.
We loved you, Mr. Halfman. That's why we put up with you.
Why do you take
If you, then it's not putting.
Because it's the only thing that would fit into my schedule, Sarah.
I didn't ask you. I just was asking. Never mind.
Were you just asking me general questions?
I was not really asking anything.
Sometimes I just say
Okay
words.
then. So why would you ask the
Exactly.
question like?
Comma?
Why would you?
Did you say comma?
Why would you ask the question like question mark?
Who's Mark?
It's like I just don't understand. I just can't take the pressure anymore.
Okay.
Okay, why are you still talking?
Whoa, whoa.
Conversation we have with
Take a
themselves.
deep breath.
You have a lot of conversation with themselves. That's pretty interesting.
You know what? That's mine.
You have some
Yeah,
like
and you're my
alien
most powerful
words
enemy.
on the board.
Why is
Well,
that?
I'm your most powerful enemy.
What did you write on Mason's board?
I didn't
I
write.
just wrote it.
Seriously?
Stop. You blame that on Foster, that's me.
I did not write on the board.
Nice.
I mean, I'm not gonna say anything.
It was Ben.
It was me.
Oh, was it?
I honestly just believe that it was positive.
You know, tomorrow I'm gonna write on the board.
Do it.
Okay.
You rebel.
You know, because he called me a
All right.
rebel.
So,
Where's the secant square?
right here.
You're sure it's square?
Oh, wait. Hang on. This should be tangent.
Okay.
I was wondering what.
I was like, where's the secant square coming from?
Come on,
He was-
Mr.
he was
Halfway,
just-
that's not.
He's just
Beyond
testing
us.
us. He's just testing us.
There we go.
I was so confused. What's the square thing?
We know what we're doing. It's fine.
I like to have a lot of parentheses.
Dude.
Add as many parentheses as you like.
Normal teenage kids, so help me.
Why am I doing that?
So today, we need to solve the derivatives of these 6 trig functions. Any guesses on what the derivative of the sine of x is?
0.
It is not 0.
1.
Right, let me think.
1.
Wait, I would have guessed 0 too.
Radical 2 over 2.
Hi, I don't know.
Cos. Oh. Why? Oh. Yeah, no. Wait, it actually does make sense. Ah.
She gets it.
What do you suppose the derivative of cosine is?
Sine.
Fine.
The answer is sun.
But it's negative.
That makes sense.
No, that's not making any. Yeah, why does that make sense? What do you mean?
Well,
That does
because
not make
when
sense
it's
to me.
it would move and then there would be a negative.
Yeah, listen to Sarah.
Yeah,
it's because
negative. What?
when you, if you were to take the derivative of cosine x,
And then it would be negative.
it's going to be negative in the same places as this would be positive. So it's going to be, because they're offset. The cosine and sine functions are offset. So they're exactly offset by the negative.
But why isn't cosine negative?
Why? Yeah. Can you graph it? Like,
Sure.
geographically graph
Because I can picture it.
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
Are we using the math sign for
So
this?
this is sine.
it? Magic school.
So the derivative of cosine.
This is cosine.
Wait.
Yes.
So-
I got that.
If you would take the derivative of sine right about here, it's going to be a positive number, right?
Yeah.
What happens if you take the derivative of cosine at roughly that same number? It's going to be a negative.
Oh.
Okay.
That's
So they end up offsetting each other like that.
So not what Sarah said.
What's that?
No.
Well, because
She had the idea.
it moves half a.
Yeah,
I
it's
had it in my head.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure you had it. I can't remember.
All right. If you remember what I had written up
Just
here
never listen to me.
in place of tangent x, you'll know what the derivative of tangent x is.
Secant square.
Yes.
When that compressed.
I'm so smart.
And if you don't like this notation, another way of writing secant squared is this. So whatever you feel like is fine. Yep. The main thing is just, you're going to have these available. So this is mostly me just kind of introducing them to you. There's very little actual calculus today, except where you apply these to things like the product rule and the quotient rule. Yes?
Is this like on the help sheet?
Yeah, it'll be on a notes sheet that you'll be given, or that you'll copy down later. Derivative of cosecant x. I don't think you'll guess this one. Negative cosecant x cotangent of x.
Oh.
Duh.
I would have guessed that.
I would
Definitely
because
not.
I wrote it down before you
Right.
erased it.
Secant x is secant tangent. And derivative of cotangent is, of course, negative cosecant squared x. As you learned in 4th grade. Yes.
Have you seen like a sheet of notes somewhere?
Yeah.
I think it's right here.
Here.
All right. So you can use this, and you'll be able to use a sheet like this. But what you should do, you should be able to know your derivatives of sine and cosine. That's the main thing. So derivative of sine is cosine. Derivative of cosine is negative sine. So you can kind of see how that goes. What's the derivative of negative sine?
So it's like Mr. Mason.
Negative
how you want
cosine.
it from memory.
Negative cosine. What's the derivative of negative cosine?
Sine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. So it just follows that pattern, that beautiful wave-like pattern.
Why isn't the derivative of negative sine cosine?
Because,
Oh wait, it's not.
It's negative cosine.
yes.
Forget.
Yeah.
He's just.
Never listen to me. Does that make sense? Oh, I know. I know you know.
I should have just gone with the old template the
Just,
classics use.
Yeah, just fill that out for me.
But what I said made
And then you
sense
can go.
in my head.
Okay.
Anything can make sense.
So I've got
got
2 examples I'd like you to do in class before I give you the homework. And it's simply using this information along with the product rule and the quotient rule. Example the first.
Come on, Jaden. That'll happen on the radio job. Come on, Jaden.
Y is equal to x squared sine x. Differentiate, please.
What?
We're off.
I thought so. Okay, okay.
That just means you have to do it.
Yes.
Okay, for range.
Yeah, but why did you put y instead of f of x?
Because you could do either one. I like to try and use different ones so that you're comfortable with everything.
Really? Okay. Well, I guess it's the same. I just
Is this right?
it's not gonna last.
You want
How
to
do you
check
make
it?
this breakdown?
Yes.
Nervous.
Almost right. Check things over one more time. There's some trig things that got mixed up in there.
What are we supposed to do then?
You're supposed to take the derivative of this.
Oh,
Obviously, it's a product rule thing. But you should be able to know how to derive x squared and sine x separately. And if you can do that, you should be able to find your way there.
Yeah, of course it's now, but then what's the problem to do with it?
Take another minute or so. See how you did. You got the right idea, but when you did the derivatives of the trig functions, they were wrong. Maybe you just got them backwards or something. Welcome back, Ben.
You need to toss, you should toss it.
Just toss it. That was pretty fast.
What, you
It's like
sprint?
3 minutes.
I'll get the stamp on your page for you.
Got back where you guys can start the next one.
Well, I mean, started it. Potter probably done. I'm still trying to figure out how to start it.
What do you mean
Use
by
the product
differentiate?
rule.
Take the derivative of.
You actually do.
Looks good.
Or you stop.
No.
Okay. You're erasing. I'm sorry.
Kind of.
Oh, good. They can see that on the camera. Okay. So, what did you guys get for this one?
Wait, we're gaming.
Sine of x times 2x plus x squared plus
That sounds right.
I thought this was wrong.
He's like,
Maybe
should
really
we
sad
The way you
here.
turn your head like her.
Like,
So, yes, I did collect those. So all you're doing when you're taking the derivative of this is you just follow the procedure that we outlined for product rule yesterday. So we're going to start by pulling out that x squared,
Oh, I forgot. It's actually different.
take the derivative of sine x, and then to that you add and you do the exact opposite. You pull out the sine of x, and then you multiply that by the derivative of x squared. So, derivative of sine is cosine. And of course, derivative of x squared is going to be equal to 2x. And that's your answer. So that's the same thing you said, it's just these two are reversed.
yeah.
Which is
that's
okay.
how I chose that.
Yeah, product rule is fine with that. Quotient rule, you do have to make sure you know which sides are which, because you're taking a subtraction. All right, ready for number 2?
Yeah.
Any questions on this one?
No.
Okay.
Definitely a fraction.
Were you going to subject Jonathan Hedley to iCarly?
I think you shall.
Who's iCarly?
It's gonna be a very hard, yes.
Oh, no. It's the show with Nick.
Yeah, I think that was after my time.
It was.
Like, much after my time. Like, Nick, when I was a kid, was... Doug was one of the shows. Legends of the Hidden Temple. Are You Afraid of the Dark? That was one of my favorites. Oh, that was cool.
I'm not afraid of the dark.
I'm sitting here like, what? I don't know Doug and I don't know how afraid of the dark, but I know.
If you're ever super bored one day, go on YouTube and just watch an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? It was like the coolest show you could watch if you were 7.
Oh, yeah.
So go ahead and do this one. Differentiate once again. You can probably guess this is a quotient rule.
Is 1 plus 10
No. When you take the derivative of the bottom, you'll have to treat these separately.
What did you say about the bottom?
Hmm?
What did you say about the bottom?
When you take Yeah, when you take the derivative of 1 plus tangent x, you have to do them separately, 1 and tangent x. There's no trig function where,
Oh,
you know what I mean?
gotcha.
Yeah, the answer's pretty long.
Yeah.
If it looks complicated, you're probably right.
I don't know if I foiled it.
Oh, you foiled it?
No, I mean simplified.
Oh, okay.
It looks complicated.
Let's see. Did you figure out what happened on the last one?
Yeah. I forgot half the trig rules.
Oh, sure. I forgot something.
This one?
Yeah, just
That's
one,
this.
one small thing in there, yeah.
I thought that's like parentheses. I thought that's like instead of
No.
Oh,
that,
sure.
that,
No,
yeah.
that's wrong. Why not? Because you have to keep the 1 plus. Oh yeah. You're right. Okay. Can you simplify it to cubed?
Simplify what?
The secant. When you subtract secant cubed. I don't know if this.
No, they gotta be the same exponent.
Okay. Yeah, you can't do that either. Sometimes I just don't want to. You sound like me.
Well, that's the cool thing about teaching AP Physics. No one else knows how to do it, so I'll just do whatever I feel like. For all you guys know, this is all make-believe.
So the
You
bottom
never
is
know.
right.
What was the first thing? He kept telling us different things.
Wait, what?
So the
What
bottom
was
is
he
right.
doing on the first day where he was like, are you
From what I remember, it was. Yeah.
Oh, the slopes. It was like simple math. We were like finding derivatives. It was this. It's the slopes.
Turns out derivatives are actually pretend.
They could be imaginary.
All right, I'll put the right
but
answer
that's
up here.
technically still mathematical.
Just turning into comparative origins. Just everything's made up.
Yeah.
What if?
Oh my goodness.
I got 12.
Good job.
Nice.
It's all the meaning of life. What is the meaning of life,
You got
Mr.
12 on
Hathaway?
what?
To serve your Lord and pass AP Physics.
Wow. To put those two on the same plane.
That's pretty.
Wow,
Woo.
pretty. I don't even know how to say it. Bold. I don't even know how to say it. It's so bold that I can't even say it.
Now, these, of course, you could combine to secant cubed x. But if you were adding them together, you
Oh,
would
see, I was
Oh,
right.
you were right.
You were not right. Yeah, you were wrong. You were wrong.
No, I was right.
The price
You were
is
half
right.
right, but still you had
That
long
one was just because I didn't
You
do
were
it that much.
You were down.
How's that look?
Right.
Yes.
Wait,
Yes.
you're not
What?
Sometimes I'm really smart and really dumb at the same time.
Okay, that's me.
Sometimes
I
we
got
are
it.
right,
I'm good.
sometimes we don't. It's the most of all.
It's the
And
exponent.
every
That's
once in a
why
while
you
you just
didn't
forget
get
just
all the
surviving.
rules you had learned from past.
I feel really bad for Kylie who has to watch this.
Kylie
I mean,
gets
there
to listen
is
to my
exponent.
rambling.
That's one.
Hey, she can fast forward wherever she wants to fast forward, so.
The one video I watched of comparative origins, there was just skipping through, and I'm like, yeah, okay. Does a magic trick without me. All right.
Yeah, that was fun.
Wait, did you miss it? Oh wait, because you didn't have the class.
Schedule, yeah. Although I think it is funny because in AP Physics and Comparative Origins, you finished your magic trick at almost the same time.
Did it really?
Yeah. Like I sat back down in my seat and looked at the clock during AP Physics, the timer, and it was like 23:23, and when I watched Comparative Origins, it was like 23:30 or something like that.
Nice.
I was like, wow, that's nice.
I just have it down so well.
Yeah.
From what I
Across
remember, I've only
classes.
messed up that thing one time. It was like 2 years ago.
Well, we never finished. Like the end of the magic didn't work.
Yes, it did.
And we
Yeah,
never
we did.
talked.
She's just confused because you were putting on a show for us too. and
Oh
she didn't
wait,
get it.
yeah, it did. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Mr. Hathaway, you want to be in my factor suspicion video?
I'm just like, she didn't get it. It's okay.
What's the video on?
Reality TV.
Maybe.
Reality TV star.
Wait,
It's hard to imagine me being a bigger star than I already
did
am.
you have 2 classes?
You're a pretty star.
Man, this is recording all of my vanity. I don't know if I like that. Okay. So, if you got lost somewhere along the way here, the main thing you got to remember is for the quotient rule, you take out the denominator first. You pull that out first, so you don't do anything with that. And then you multiply that by the derivative of the numerator, which is this. And then you do subtraction. You pull out the numerator, multiply it by the derivative of the denominator, and put it all above the bottom thing squared, which is this. So the derivative of 1 plus tangent x, you got to do these separately. Derivative of 1 is 0 because it's a constant. Derivative of tangent x is secant x tangent x. And when you go over here and you do the derivative of 1 plus tangent of x, you get secant x secant squared x because of the secant out here. So, as mentioned, you can combine these two and then you'll have secant cubed x. If you leave it like this unsimplified, that's totally cool too. You don't have to simplify these things. Questions on any of this? All right. I'll pass out the homework. See how far you can get. Tomorrow, I have a special treat for you. We're getting a visit from... What's that?
Mr. Langenkamp.
Yeah, Mr. Langenkamp's coming in tomorrow.
If you bring cake,
I'm gonna have full time.
You can totally do everything you can to get him to bring cake in, and I would encourage that.
Want him in Street Fighter 3
I don't think
First
I'm gonna have
Future.
What if I bring cake
Don't say problem.
I'm gonna teach
during
you 5
his
times.
little
What is
things?
he gonna do?
are you
I have
actually
one
going to
time.
bring cake though? Because then you have to buy and or make the cake.
Oh,
I
wait,
literally
so
don't
no.
know.
You think I will like it?
He might actually
Do you want to make a cake, Sarah?
I have tennis and I have a Spanish project, so maybe.
I support cake. Oh, this is all we have?
What if we make a Spanish cake and then also use it for my Spanish thing? Because I'm doing it on comida.
Just to go to Spain to make it.
I got one more thing to say before we turn off the camera and I let you work. So I strongly urge you to go through and do the dual credit thing because there's really 2 ways you can get college credit from this class. You can take the AP test in the spring, and if you do well enough, you'll get college credit there. Or you could do dual credit. Dual credit is where you're pretty much guaranteed college credit for the class, regardless of whether you even take that test in the spring. It's as though you're taking a college course through Concordia, Nebraska, and it does cost a little bit of money, but I'll tell you that amount of money per credit compared with how much a college course would cost, absolutely minuscule. So I'd urge you to do that. If you have to pick one or the other, if it was me, I would just pick the sure thing, the dual credit, because I know for sure I'm going to get college credit for it. So if you have to pick, that's what I would pick. Because you never know what can happen with that AP test in the spring. Maybe you have a bad day and it just doesn't go well. But, yeah, just wanted to give my plug for that. Mr. Langenkamp will tell you more tomorrow.
I'll be over 1,000 if I do both.